We're gonna start with SunnyV2 video on how James Corden destroyed his reputation. Because I can't. I just want to know what Sunny got to say. They already got 2 million views in one day. I mean, Sunny does pull a lot of fucking views, a lot, and very fast. He's 2 million subscriber channel, 2.5 million subscriber channel. I'm sorry, don't mean to disrespect. Um, but let's see what he got to say.
James Corden has slowly developed one of the worst reputations in media history, and the foundation for his decline began when people started to realize that James Corden was a completely different person when he wasn't on camera. As an
I feel like this came out. Now, this video obviously just came out a day ago, September 29th, so yeah, about a day ago. But I remember they were saying him and Ellen were like at the top of this list. Because that's when everybody was trying to cancel Ellen, because Ellen, like all Ellen's employees, not all of them, but like they were saying like how toxic her workplace was, and I remember somebody trying to get him going to saying basically kind of the same thing, that he's not a good person. Like he tries to act like he's like a great guy, he's all nice and friendly, and like he's all for the people, and that he treats his people right, and people were just like, yeah, nah, that's all fucking facade. So let's see what he got going on.
Actor and the main host of The Late Late Show, James presents as a happy, polite, easygoing comedian whose goal is to simply make the audience laugh, although there's a mountain of evidence showing that in his private life he's the exact opposite to this, with his rude nature developing after he first became famous back in 2008. As a result of his excellent performance on a British TV show called Gavin and Stacey, James would win the British equivalent of an Oscar, although accompanying this award was an ego boost that began to get out of control.
You can start.
What is their equivalent to a Oscar? What is it?
James would win the British equivalent of an Oscar, although accompanying this award was an ego boost that began to get out of control.
You can start to think you're perhaps a bit more of a dude than you really are. And that very much happened to me. You know, I had a swagger in my walk.
As mentioned, James Corden's sudden explosion into fame led him to believe that he was more of a dude than he really was, which would eventually translate into him treating everyone around him.
I ain't gonna lie, the money glowed this man all the way to fuck up, because what kind of fit is this, bro? Like, I mean, I used to dress as trash like that too. I can't even hate. I mean, I still don't got like swag or nothing like to this day. I mean, at least that man got some fire ass suits. I'll give him that. But damn, this man glowed up. Yo, whew, man.
Him like garbage. James explained that as 2008 wore on, it got so bad I was being rude to my agent, and I even started being rude to Ruth. If I was in company and the conversation wasn't revolving around me, I would just switch off. In addition to being rude to everyone around him, Corden began to live a typically irresponsible, newly famous lifestyle.
I'd started going out quite a lot. This door had opened to this world that I thought looked like fun, where people go, you're amazing, you're great, can I have a photo? Do you want a drink? Come out with us. And so you just end up on this path of just 3 a.m. cab rides with people you don't know, heading across London to someone's house who you don't know either, with a group of people who think it's amazing that you're there. This is an intoxicating thing to be part of.
All of which,
I mean, I can see how you can get caught up in the fame and like the new lifestyle and like all these people who are just kind of like just yes men. Not even saying these are yes men necessarily, but when you get into these groups of people that just like make you feel like you're actually somebody when you probably went your entire life feeling like, I'm not gonna say him specifically, but let's say you felt like a loser your entire life. The next thing you know, you're just propped up as this big person, and then you're just accepted by all these people. You can get wrapped up in that shit and think that these people are your actual friends, that these people actually like you and they care about you, they want you to be there. But once you fall from fucking grace, they don't give a fuck about you. They on to the next fucking person.
being noticed by another Gavin and Stacey actor, Rob Brydon, who explained that when he first met James Corden 6 years prior, he was very impressed by him, yet after winning the Oscar award, James Corden was on a roller coaster. This boy from High Wycombe, and he's suddenly enjoying the fruits of his success, and he just lost his way for a bit. He was burning the candle at both ends and becoming ratty and irritable. James Corden claimed that his streak of irresponsibility came to an end after attending 18 months of therapy, although even after this, there were still countless examples of him treating people like garbage. For example, James Corden stated in a BBC4 interview that he needed to bully his way to the top of the media world, which can be observed in certain events such as the time he'd get into a public argument with another incredibly respected actor, Patrick Stewart, whilst on stage.
You got into a Patrick Stewart? God, really?
When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you... I'm not gonna... Alright, I don't know what he says. We're gonna hear what he says. but in a way, I feel like if you're trying to big bro somebody, right? You want somebody to hear you. So you want somebody to understand you. You want to give advice. Like you, let's say he genuinely cared and wanted to make James like understand what kind of position he was in, and that you need to be grateful, and you have to have a certain type of respect. That makes sense. I don't think it's like now if you're trying to do it in a funny way, which I could see, but I wouldn't have taken it that way. I could see why James probably went the fuck off. Because I'd hate to be sunned. That's what I would call it. When people sit there and do that to me. And it kind of comes off as disrespectful a little bit. So I'm not going to, like I said, I haven't heard what James said. So we're going to listen to it. But I can understand how it could have started, like, some toxic ass energy to be reciprocated. I'm sorry.
Couldn't be more wrong, sir. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it.
After Patrick Stewart would confront James about looking disinterested during the presentation, the argument would escalate in front of everyone.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Which was concluded by James and Patrick bickering in the background while someone else was talking on the microphone. Now, to cut James some slack, Patrick Stewart was probably in the wrong here, considering he was the person who began the argument. Interestingly, after James Corden gave him a very favourable introduction.
What was really confusing about it was I gave him like a massive intro.
Yeah, I know.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an actor who's held in such high esteem. Please welcome the brilliant Sir Patrick Stewart. And then he came up and did that.
Although James still decided to engage and clap back with a few jabs of his own, so it's safe to say that he also had some degree of responsibility. There are other examples of similar situations where James has acted rudely, however only after being provoked by someone else first. Countless paparazzi videos show James walking through Los Angeles looking quite angry and disinterested, although having a camera involuntarily shoved into your face probably doesn't facilitate the best environment for a good mood.
See, that's one thing I will agree with. Like, just because he looks like he's angry at the camera, I'm sorry. Look. I don't think y'all can see my cursor, but I'm pointing at homie right here with his phone, like not even a real photographer here, but you got this dude holding his phone up, taking a picture of him. You got homie over here with his Nikon, I believe, snapshotting photos, and whoever this dude is over here on the left, like just kind of vibing. Then you have the people obviously behind him taking pictures. I understand that these people are famous, but at the same time, there is some type of privacy and respect. Yeah, I understand you're a public figure, but like not everybody likes to have the camera in their face all the time. Like sometimes, like he's just walking around the street. Maybe he was shopping. Maybe he was cooling with his friend, whoever this guy is over here on the right. Like who knows? But to still say that this person is just mean because I didn't fuck with paparazzi. Mad people don't fuck with paparazzi. Do you understand how invasive those people are? Like, do you not hear some of the stories that people have to deal with? Like, Kanye West is my favorite rapper of all time. It's not a fucking secret. But when Kanye was taking out the trash at like 6 in the morning, and then the dude was like, "Good morning, Kanye," and he was like, "Shut the fuck up." I understand where Kanye's coming from. It's 6 in the fuck. It's dark outside. And it doesn't matter what time it is. It's dark outside. You're outside of my home, whether it's public information or not. You're outside of my home recording me, or hoping that I come out, or hoping that my wife comes out, so you can snap us, take pictures, sell it to whoever, and then make a quick buck while I'm over here having to feel not safe in my own home. I feel that. It makes no sense. Now, not excusing that you should be a dick to these people or be mean or like be violent to these people, but it gets kind of annoying after a while. I can understand the frustration.
There was also the time when Ant and Dec played a prank on James Corden, attempting to make him late for work, although considering they were literally going out of their way to make him angry, James probably gets another pass here. However, when James Corden would post one of the most brutal Reddit Ask Me Anything things in internet history, 3 fan interactions were highlighted, which James had absolutely no excuse for. Hey James, you won't remember me, but me and my friend sat at a table next to you and Harry Styles plus some others in Manchurian Legends in London's Chinatown about 6 years ago. We didn't bother you, but you were a massively entitled dick who yelled and treated the wait staff like shit, and when one of my party politely suggested you calm down, you got really aggressive and threatening. So my question is this: why did Harry seem so cool while you were such a massive throw?
See, now I'm not gonna discredit this person. Like I said, I'm not sitting here trying to defend JamesCorden. I don't know this dude. I don't care about him. Like, I mean, I hope nothing bad happens to him. Like, that's not how I feel about him. But like, when somebody goes and says all this, you had me all the way until the one part he doesn't highlight in a chubby way, like a boozy panda. Like, now you're gonna start dissing me because, like, not saying that he doesn't have the right to, especially depending on what James actually said to the person in his party. He could have been really rude. He could have said something really disrespectful. Let's say he looked at, let's say it was a woman that said something and was just kindly asking him to calm down. And he said, "Fuck you, bitch." Now, I can understand why you would come at James this way. But kind of hurts your argument when you start just like throwing like just little insults in. I'm just saying.
Robbing Bellend. This post was followed by another which read, I went to a JamesCorden live recording a while back. He had nearly zero interaction with the audience before/after the show and was on his phone entirely during commercial breaks. I guess that's his prerogative. He may have been having a bad day. I also realize it must be difficult to be on all the time, but I remember being extremely disappointed. By comparison, I've been to a Jimmy Fallon recording and a Letterman recording, and I can say with full conviction that those guys really seemed like they cared about their audience and worked their hardest to entertain them even while the cameras weren't recording, which was followed by one final anecdote read.
Well, let's go back. This person, at least they acknowledge, you know, not everybody can keep the face on. When he says keep it on, it's difficult to keep it on all the time. I get it. Like, you know, not saying that these people are actually like the way they act on TV or the way they portray themselves in their shows, that they're this happy-go-lucky person. Like, that is for the camera, especially on late night. You can't be angry and be on late night. Like, you gotta be funny, you gotta be very charming, you gotta be entertaining, you gotta be, like, you have to entertain these people. So, like, that face, that smile, like I said, just because Jimmy Fallon and Letterman are like that, doesn't necessarily mean that James has to be. It's just what it is. Not saying that he should get ostracized for that. But at the same time, like, you know, if you felt that way, I'm sorry. That could have been just that day. I don't know.
Those guys really seem like...
I really sound like I'm caping for JamesCorden. I really need to stop. It's only halfway through the video. I probably haven't even heard half of the worst shit yet.
Like they cared about their audience and worked their hardest to entertain them even while the cameras weren't recording, which was followed by one final anecdote reading, massive dick in person. I saw a League of Their Own filming live. Through multiple tantrums over minor things at the production staff, with him being incredibly rude to them, which made the other regulars seem very awkward like it was usual. Between each take, the other celebs would be chatting amongst themselves, bantering about. James was glued to his phone. At the end of the filming, people got up to go get pictures with James, and he massively kicked off shouting at people to go away and go back to their seats, and the few he did let have pictures with, he was moody as. Seeing him like that made me realize everything you see of his on TV is a complete persona. When continuing on through the AMA, it becomes pretty obvious as to why JamesCorden only answered 3 different questions before calling it quits. Why are you, James, such a deeply unpleasant person? Did your parents raise you that way? Have you ever considered being funny?
Okay. So...
or likable? James, are you aware that everyone thinks you're a hack and a talentless asshat? With his third comment here relating to the next reason behind JamesCorden's decline. Many of his on-screen performances have simply been terrible.
I'm just gonna keep it going.
Petition requesting that JamesCorden not be cast in Wicked the movie gained close to 110,000 signatures, and after friends announced that JamesCorden would be hosting the TV show's 15-year reunion, he'd received Twitter responses such as, "Don't get me wrong, I've been wanting a Friends reunion since 2004, but if someone told me JamesCorden would be in it, I'd have told them not to bother." JamesCorden adding the Friends reunion to the list of things he's ruined with his mere presence. Additionally, after starring as the main character in the 2019 film Cats, the movie received a 2.8 out of 10 star rating on IMDb, as well as reviews so awful that JamesCorden didn't even end up watching the movie himself. However, James stating that he didn't watch the movie wasn't the only thing that was interesting about this interview, as he'd also discussed
Now, see, I haven't watched the movie. So I can't tell you if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I can't tell you. I don't know. But let's just say the movie was okay. When you are such a disliked person, the hate will just come. It just will come. It doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what you say. People are gonna be telling you to shut the fuck up. I wish you weren't there. You ruined something for me. I hate it. Even if it's not even bad, it could be good. I'm not saying it is, because like I said, I didn't watch it, so I have no idea. I had no plans on watching Cats at all, because I wasn't interested in Cats. I didn't watch the musical. I don't care for the, if there was a movie before. I don't care. I'm just saying. People will sit there and shit on you just because they don't like you. It's just facts.
Another topic which had turned much of his audience against him, his beef with another talk show host, Bill Maher. In September of 2019, Bill Maher published an editorial about obesity, with the contents of such being discussed on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Look, you can't keep eating as much as you want and as shitty a food as you want. You just can't.
That is not something that anybody wants to hear, though.
People loved it until James Corden said something.
As mentioned, James Corden wasn't too happy with these comments and would call Bill Maher out by making both some reasonable arguments.
If making fun of fat people made them lose weight, there'd be no fat kids in schools and I'd have a six-pack by now.
As well as some awful ones, such as a zero personal responsibility statement that Bill Maher was simply lucky to have a body that burned more calories than him.
We're not all as lucky.
He shouldn't have said that. Mainly because, yes, it's facts. Not everybody has the same metabolism as somebody. Not everybody has the same metabolism. Not everybody can burn calories and burn fat and be on a diet and it work for them. Everybody's body is different. So, yeah, you can make that example, but to not take accountability in why you didn't lose weight, that's not, like, especially if you're making a joke. If your joke was actually funny, and like your point was actually funny, it wouldn't have been received that way. But since you're so hated, and since you could have said it better, it's not going to get taken the way that you want it to be taken. So then even if Bill Maher is wrong in what he says, it doesn't matter. If Bill Maher is more liked than you, Bill Maher is going to win. It is just what it is. Excuse me.
As Bill Maher, you know, we don't all have a sense of superiority that burns 35,000 calories a day.
Which Bill interpreted as the easy, low-risk way out of the argument.
He missed a great opportunity to literally save lives. He took the easy way out. Of course, you can always get applause for saying, oh, let's boo the mean man who's told the truth. That's not brave.
As is usually the case with these kinds of topics.
But Bill Maher can be an entitled dick. Like, that is facts. Like, we all seen it. Like, that is Bill Maher. That's kind of just who he is. Whether, like I said, he wants to play victim or, not say necessarily victim, but whether he wants to, like, say, that, oh, that's what I said was facts, blah, 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 blah. It ain't gonna change nothing. Bill Maher not gonna lose so fucking sleep over it. He don't care. That's just facts. He just answered the question. Or he wanted to get his shit off and he got it off.
There were supporters for both sides of the argument. However, James unnecessarily forcing himself into such a divisive conversation where people already disagree with him was probably a net negative toward his reputation, just like the time his carpool karaoke was outed for being fake. The segment during which James Corden drives around singing songs with various famous musicians was called out by a user on Twitter in early 2020 after they noticed Justin Bieber and James Corden in a car, which wasn't being driven but rather being pulled on a trailer.
I remember when this came out, and I personally gave 0 fucks. Because guess what? 1, I don't watch carpool karaoke. 2, who cares if he was really driving the fucking car? It was just entertaining. Like, I'm sorry, yo, not everybody is the dude that, I'm so sorry, because I feel bad for homie. The dude that drives around with all the drill rappers and they be rapping in the car in this passenger seat, like for the freestyles or whatever, or they actually do a song or some shit. Like, so what if he's driving a car? Like, I don't understand why this was such a big fucking deal. Like, did you really think that he was driving perfectly and then singing with these people? It's a production. It's a show. It's for entertainment. How many things on TV are fake? Like, come on. Like, why does everything have to be so, like, people getting so up in arms about things not being realistic? I just don't understand. It's just get over it.
The video would rack up over 14 million views, which prompted an incredibly hilarious response from James Corden himself, in which he would go ahead and debunk the claim that the series had been faked.
95% of the time, I really am endangering the lives of the world's biggest pop stars. Here is a list.
Okay. And that's the other thing. I don't even think to even say this. But even though, like, I feel like he's still bullshitting with the 95% or whatever. Really think about it. You think that somebody is going to drive some of the biggest names in music around, singing and driving all reckless, possibly, and endangering this person with no security in the car, no security outside the car? Like, no. I driving down Rodeo, driving down some of these Hollywood and California streets, maybe New York. I don't know where he'd be at. But you think that they would just let that happen? I don't think so. Now, is it possible that he did it for some people? Yes, it's possible. But I don't think, like, I'm sorry, Justin Bieber, Nicki Minaj, is Lady Gaga on there? Like, I remember the Nicki Minaj episode. I don't think he drove the fucking Migos. No, he didn't. But who cares? Like I said, who cares? Did y'all like car karaoke? Yeah, y'all did. Why did that stop y'all from liking it? That don't make no sense. It would be one thing if they were saying, "Oh, he wasn't really singing," or if the person that was in the celebrity wasn't really singing, and then they pre-recorded the. Now I can see how that could piss some people off. This shit right here, bro. You don't get the fuck on.
Of every carpool karaoke where I've used a tow, and this is a list of everyone where I was driving the car, okay?
However, while Corden did a pretty good job of debunking these claims, there are still countless comments on every carpool karaoke from people who never saw the debunk calling the videos fake. This all feels so fake when you know he's not actually driving. Fake news, James isn't actually driving. James Corden, stop cheating people with your carpool karaoke. Can't believe all these celebrities put up with this fake show. Next time at least drive the damn car. It seems like even when James Corden is in the right, his audience selectively decides that he's still in the wrong, which has also been speculated as part of the reason behind his recent announcement that he's leaving the public spotlight. On the 29th of April 2022, James Corden would upload a video to his YouTube channel titled James Corden Discusses His Late Night Future, in which he'd announced that he'd only be hosting the show for one more year.
I've decided to sign for one more year on the show, and that this will be my last year hosting the Late Late Show.
In a different interview, James Corden specified that his motive for leaving the entertainment industry was to spend more time with his family.
I don't want to do it forever. We're a really long way away from home, and we're a really long way away from people who are getting older, and we're a really long way from them if something should ever happen, and that plays on my mind.
No, I don't know. I sound like I'm about to cry too. That sounded crazy, yeah. But I could understand. Like, not saying that this isn't. Maybe the hate got to him. Maybe the people got to him. He was just getting when he goes home, does that shit weigh on his heart? Who knows? But that's facts for everybody. Not everybody, but people who have a family that they actually care about and a family that cares about them. If you aren't anywhere near those people, especially in times where, like I said, people shitting on you all day on the internet, people shitting on you all day, like, sometimes to go back to what's actually real, like I said earlier, when you have a bunch of people who are just yes men or just around because you're popping at the time, like, sometimes it's good to go back to the people that, you know, actually care about you, actually give a fuck about you, actually care if you're sick, actually care if, like, you're feeling, you know, depressed, or if you're actually happy. Like, that's what people want to be around after a certain point in time, especially after doing something for so long or being in the spotlight for so long. It's not wrong with that. Now, do I think some of this pressure got to him? Or at least I said some. Yes, I did. But you really can't. You can only speculate that. Until he comes out and says it, it's a speculation.
However, many have speculated that being such a disliked celebrity has put an unbearable amount of pressure on him, which becomes especially obvious when looking at the comments regarding his retirement. James Corden is a talentless bag of garbage. Goodbye, good riddance. Finally, we don't want him anymore. Ruins everything he's involved in. Probably one of the most annoying people in the business, it seems. Please don't come back to the UK. Please don't come back to the UK. Please don't come back to the UK. With each of these comments being accompanied by flattering articles such as, "Farewell, James Corden, you were an asshole."
I'm gonna just end this with.
Why?
I'm gonna just end this with hey, not saying this guy was a good guy. Not saying that this guy didn't deserve some of the shit that he went through. Well, some of the shit that he got. But why are y'all so mad? Literally, some of y'all have never met this dude. Some of you, most of y'all have never met this dude. Most of y'all don't even watch his late night show. Most of y'all don't even care. So just to hype on the hate train is just fucking crazy. I'm gonna go back so I could like this video because it was fire video by Sunny like always.